Hi everyone, Jerrel here, and Happy New Year again. Silver Falls Undertakers is launching on the Nintendo 3DS in Europe January 14, which should be today. So for everyone in Europe, I hope you're looking forward to picking that game up and giving it a try. It's €5 and does connect to Silver Falls 3 Downstars and all the upcoming games as well. For North America, I do apologize that the game could not launch the same time, but there were unexpected delays with the publishing process, and I was unable to get through the process with Nintendo to get the same release date. So far, it looks like we might have January 28 as the launch date for North America. So I thank you again very much for your patience. To try to make that up for you, to you guys, I did work extremely hard. I put in a lot of extra hours because I am in the middle of working on the upcoming games, especially Guardians and Metal Exterminators and episode Watchtower. But to make that up to you guys, I worked really hard to get Galaxy Bound Curse updated. I fixed a ton of glitches, just dozens and dozens of glitches. Added quite a bit of new content. There's new story, new characters. I've finalized and implemented the level up mechanics, so every enemy now has sort of fixed and refined AI. They do give correct loot and experience points. When you return to town, your characters can level up. If you have pets, they can level up as well. And again, if you find the leather worker, he can upgrade some of your equipment, so you can attack faster and hit harder. If you find Patriona Greentree, she's in one of the houses, she can level up your clothes, and generally you'll have a higher defense, and when you get hit, your invulnerability will last longer if your clothes have been leveled up by Patriona. And the code linker system now works, so I really enjoy testing on the Game Boy Color. This is what I've got here. So I like testing the game on that, but recently I did pick up the Retroid Pocket 2, which I think is a really cool device. I think it just feels great. It's really neat, and I enjoy testing on that as well, especially since the screen is quite nice and it's backlit really nicely. So I've been testing a little bit on that as well for development for Galaxy Bound Curse, and it's just a nice form factor, and it's nice not having to hold your Game Boy under a spotlight. So you can head to the Silver Falls page at silverfallsgame.com, and you can download the ROM for Galaxy Bound Curse. Again, that's free for everyone to get the ROM, and you can play that on any hardware or any software that you like. So I hope you enjoy that as well. For Undertakers, I'm very excited that Undertakers had finally launched. Again, I've been trying to get it through the publishing process since September of 2020, but that year was quite crazy. Nintendo was very busy, and look, we finally got to this point, so I hope you guys enjoy that. So what's coming up next is I'm probably about 94% done with Guardians and Metal Exterminators. I'm finalizing a few things, and then I'll be submitting that to Nintendo. So hopefully that one doesn't take months and months to get through the publication process, and hopefully it takes just a few weeks once I send that through to them. That Guardians and Metal Exterminators will be on Nintendo 3DS. Again, all the models will work on the 2DS and the Nintendo Switch. And I did push extra hard to get the game working on all 3DS models, only because people have asked. It's a lot of extra work, a lot of extra effort, and it's just a whole lot of engineering to get it working on all the platforms, and primarily it's because Unity for 3DS came in quite late in the 3DS lifespan. It wasn't really designed to be, it wasn't really optimized to work well on the older hardware. So getting it to work on the older hardware took a lot of effort, and again, I only did that because people let me know that they wanted to play Silver Falls games on older 3DS, and because they've asked, I've said, yeah, sure, you know what? And I'm still quite passionate about the 3DS, and I thank everyone for letting me know that they still enjoy the 3DS as well. But moving forward from this point, I will be focusing the majority of my efforts on developing for Switch now. So I'll be getting Guardians and Metal Exterminators on the Switch. There will be huge graphical improvements over the 3DS version, but it's primarily the same game. Mainly the main differences will be the multiplayer mode, the versus mode on the Switch version. The 3DS version will have an exclusive crossover mode with Undertakers, so you'll have some gameplay in the Undertakers setting and with Undertakers characters, which won't be in the Switch version. So that's something cool and exclusive for the 3DS version. So I hope you guys will pick that up. And I thank you again for your patience. Thank you so much for your support. I really, really appreciate you guys, and I really am looking forward to getting more games to you guys. And if you want to help support me as a developer just for the next few months, I do have that Patreon page up. It would make a huge help to me because I did expect Undertakers to be launched and selling last year. Unfortunately, the publishing process got dragged out further and further and further and further. So things in the studio are quite tight. And any help that you can send through Patreon would be huge help. And again, it would be just short term to keep the lights on in the studio until we get our next few games selling, and then the studio can really support itself long term. And I really appreciate you guys. And I want to, I guess I'm shooting from the hip here. I didn't really plan much for this video, but I did announce Vicarious Bros on around New Year's. I announced that, and I want to put that on the 3DS because I think it would be a shame if we didn't get a cool Virtual Boy style game on the 3DS. But I'm able to make that because I've also designed that game to be a Switch game as well, and I'm still in the middle of trying to get approval and permission to have that game work with the VR, with the Labo VR headset. And the reason why it may not 100% be okay is because it's very red. And we all know what happened with the original Virtual Boy. So if something happens where it gets rejected because Vicarious Bros with Labo VR headset gives people headset, if it gives the testers headsets or something, I'll just have to create like a colored mode where the whole thing isn't red. That will be at some point in the future. Again, that's not high on the priority list right now. What's coming next is we have Guardians of Metal Exterminators. Then I'll be going straight into episode Watchtower. And then we are looking at... I'm developing Ghoul Busters and Deadly Shadows simultaneously thereabouts. But I would like Deadly Shadows to launch shortly after Watchtower. But again, I usually have one major project, a major title, and then I have a smaller title on standby because the major titles can get exhausting. Very, very tiring. They're very demanding. They consume your entire life and all your energy. I like to have smaller projects there because I don't like wasting time, and I don't like downtime where I'm not productive and I'm not building the franchise, not building the studio. So to take a break from larger projects, if I find after a couple months of development where it's just exhausting, it's taking too much energy, then I'll just switch over to a smaller project. So that's what Ghoul Busters is. So hopefully I can finish Watchtower, go straight into Deadly Shadows, and hopefully I can get through the entirety of Deadly Shadows without having to sort of gear down and slow down a bit, because I would like those games out as soon as possible. I think it's just great. I can't show you my Switch hardware because it's a development unit, but I can sort of record video. But it's just so much cooler seeing it on the hardware. But what I've been able to do with episode Watchtower is very exciting. I really think people are going to enjoy it, and they're going to have fun exploring the world with these characters that they're already a bit familiar with from the other games in, what's much higher visual quality than the 3DS. So again, I thank you guys very much, so much for all of your support. I'll put a link to our Patreon or whatever, and if you guys can help support the studio and just keep the lights on for the next couple months, it just means so much to me. It'd be huge thanks. And as thanks for that, I do plan on doing one more free game later in the year, and I'll do announcements for that, when the time is right, when it's more developed and we're ready to announce that. But I do want to have a couple small free games here, much the way that Galaxy Bound Curse is free. That's my thank you to the fans for supporting Silver Falls, for going online and letting me know how much they enjoy the games, for letting other players know, hey, you might enjoy Silver Falls. I really appreciate it. That means so much to me. I'm so appreciative to you guys. So I have another free game planned in the middle of the year that will probably drop during the production of Deadly Shadows. It'll be sometime middle of the year. I've got another free game that I've lined up. Again, thanks very much for you guys. I hope you're all safe and you're having a great year so far. And yeah, huzzah, we got there. Go Undertakers. Take care, everyone.